The kingdom of heaven is like. As we've been talking about the parables, this is a phrase that we've been focusing on. It's something I want us to reflect on and consider. Jesus uses it many times in the telling of the parables, and today we're looking at two parables together. They're parables that discuss worth, and the first goes like this. The kingdom of heaven is like treasure hidden in a field, which a man found and covered up. Then in his joy he goes and sells all that he has and buys that field. The first parable, found in Matthew chapter 13, verse 44, has a companion parable that follows in the next two verses. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a merchant in search of fine pearls, who, on finding one pearl of great value, went and sold all that he had and bought it. Some things I notice about this parable. In the first verse, the kingdom is the thing of great value, a great treasure. The kingdom of heaven is like a treasure hidden in a field. In the second parable, the kingdom of heaven is one pursuing something of great value. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a merchant in search of fine pearls. Both of these statements are true. They're powerful teachings about the kingdom of heaven. The kingdom of heaven is of great value to the one who seeks and finds it. It's worth giving up everything else for the sake of claiming it. I think Jesus wants us to know that there is nothing in this world that should be of greater value to us than the kingdom of heaven. On the other hand, Jesus also wants us to know that the kingdom of heaven is pursuing treasure itself. It is the merchant that would sell all that he has to claim it. Remember that a kingdom is comprised of two things, a people and a king. If a king or a man claims to be a king but has no people, he's not a king at all. If a people have no king, they can't be a kingdom. And Jesus is telling us to pursue the part of the kingdom we cannot fill on our own, the king. But then he's also telling us that the king is pursuing his people. In all honesty, we win out in the deal. In selling all that we have to claim the kingdom, we find a treasure that is so great that it is beyond compare. And that seems pretty obvious to most of us in reading these parables. It's hard, however, to see the reciprocal nature of this. In giving up all that we have to be a part of the kingdom, we are matched by our king. He gives up all that he has to claim us. It is the gospel story. Jesus goes to the cross for his followers, but he also calls them to do the same for him. Take up your cross and deny yourself and follow me. Today, you may find yourself holding fast to some treasure that stands between you and claiming the kingdom. Maybe that treasure is wealth, literal, physical wealth. Maybe that treasure is your pride. Perhaps that treasure is the security you've placed in kingdoms of this world. God tells us that we need to lay those aside in order to claim the kingdom. But he doesn't ask us to do any less than he himself has already done. Christ set aside heaven. He laid aside personal security. He laid down his life for the sake of claiming the treasure he pursued. I pray today that you would seek the kingdom of God. Seek it not as though it is a great treasure, one among many, but as though it is the only treasure worth dedicating your energy to.